here for Weekly. What's up, everybody? Subaru Fan here for weekly update number 58 on this Friday. So, what's new with the BRZ? Well, on Monday, I went in and the dealership did a new taillight fix. They replaced the passenger taillight because, as you saw in last week's update, it was totally flooded and pretty bad. And so they installed a new taillight, but they also installed this new trunk liner seal thing that's supposed to help. And they also resealed the driver's taillight too, because they're hoping that this new trunk fender thing is like that was the issue, and so they're hoping that this actually fixes it and then it'll be good. So everything's sealed up, and it's been raining quite a bit over the past few days, and there hasn't been any condensation buildup at all. So I don't have any wood to knock on here, but knock on wood, hopefully it's done and fixed and totally just don't have to worry about it anymore. So I'll keep you guys updated as to whether or not that actually is the case or if it develops again. Also, it's now getting to be warm all the time, so I'm finally going to probably be taking off the snow tires tomorrow and putting on the old summer tires that still have a little bit of tread left on them, and use those up, and then buy some new tires here in a month or two. And then the last thing is, as you guys know, I've kind of go back and forth with this exhaust system. I love the sound and I love the tone, but I don't love the drone and the sometimes excessively loud volume. And so considering going with a different exhaust system and things like that, but I like this exhaust, I want to keep it. So I've been thinking of ways that I can quiet this exhaust system down, and one thing that I've thought is, and someone actually mentioned this a long time ago whenever I talked about this last year, and that is that this car has a sound tube that basically pipes intake noise that goes directly from the airbox and pumps it in through the vents and gives you some more noise in the engine. And that's something that for the stock car is nice because it gives you a little more of an engine sound, but with this exhaust I have plenty of exhaust noise. I don't need any additional engine noise, so I'm thinking about deleting that sound tube, and while I'm at it, I'm thinking about just getting rid of the air rate intake that I have altogether and putting the stock airbox in, because that should hopefully quiet down the engine bay, and I would just have exhaust noise and no sound tube, so it would just be coming out of the back of the car. I think that might actually get rid of some of my drones, so I'm considering doing that. Let me know your thoughts on that, some of you that maybe have done that already. But yeah, that's it for all the BRZ updates, guys. So I'll send it back to me at the news desk for this week's news. Right, for this week's news. The first thing is Subaru saying now they might actually build a WRX hatchback after all for 2015, because they said that, actually we've just noticed that 50% of our US WRX sales are hatchbacks. And so whenever you just alienated 50% of your market, obviously there's going to be some uproar. And they said, we've had lots of demand from people in the United States that say they'd like a hatchback, which obviously wouldn't take a rocket scientist to figure out, and so they're thinking about making a hatchback version. I think it's very easy to make a hatchback version. Just take a normal Impreza hatchback like they already have, and just put all the new WRX body panels on it, and the new engine and internals and all that jazz, and then it's good to go. Very easy to do, shouldn't cost a whole lot of money, and then we'll have another hatchback WRX again, which would be pretty sweet. Other car news, Bugatti has unveiled the 5th Legend Edition of the Veyron. It's called Black Bess, which is interesting. It has a cool paint scheme. I don't really see the point in all these special editions myself, but it is what it is. Next, there's going to be some new cars coming out here at New York, obviously, next week, and there's been a lot of teasers this week that we've seen. First is Kia has teased their Sedona minivan. I don't know who's anxiously awaiting a new minivan unveiling, but that's what they're doing here, so in case you were shopping for a minivan, stay tuned for the new Sedona. Next is Scion is also releasing Series 10 of the XB, which is a car that's so old, it's just a little bit jazzed up, special edition. These cars are pretty slow selling at this point. I don't see anyone jumping to buy one of these. But yeah, the XB continues on with another release series. Other news is the Chevy Corvette Stingray is going to get an 8-speed automatic for 2015, which is pretty cool. It's going to have better fuel economy, and you know, these 8-speeds are fantastic with how quickly they shift and stuff. So that'll be cool for those Corvette owners, which is a large amount of them that don't want to drive manual. You now have the option of an 8-speed automatic, which is good. Other automatic news, actually, while we're talking about this, is Fiat has just announced that the 500 is going to get a new speedometer display. It's all digital. It's really cool looking. And they're also going to be offering automatic transmission for the new turbo Fiat 500, and the Fiat 500 Abarth is going to come with an automatic now as an option. You can still get a manual, of course, but they're going to have an automatic, which obviously is a smart move here in America because lots of people want an automatic and they don't want to shift, and so you get a whole big, you know, wider range of the market with the automatic version. So that's smart marketing on Fiat's part, and hopefully it helps them to sell some more cars. Other cool news, Honda has just revealed their new ARX04B. It's an LMP2 car that they're doing, and it's pretty sweet looking. As you know, Honda's pretty serious about racing, and so that should be a pretty good contender, so that's pretty cool if you follow motorsports. Other news, this is a car that's going to be coming out here in New York, but it was just officially unveiled after a few pictures leaked, and that is the 2015 Lexus NX, which is their new crossover SUV kind of thing. And I gotta say, you know, a lot of people still think these cars are all hideous to this new Lexus design language. I think that looks really sick, actually. I think they actually nailed it this time. That looks really, really good. So that's pretty sweet. If you're looking for a crossover, stay tuned for one of those. Other interesting news is Ferrari is considering an FF Coupe. And if you think, well, wait, that's what the F12's for, they're saying this could be kind of like a newer version of the 612 Scaglietti, which was, you know, kind of a 4-seater car, you know, whereas the F12 is just a 2-seater, and the FF is a hatchback, but, you know, some people maybe don't want the hatchback look, they want a sleeker coupe, but they want the all-wheel drive and the back seat, and so Ferrari is considering doing something like that for them, and so that's going to be pretty cool. More Ferrari models is never anything to complain about. While we're talking about Ferrari, though, if you're in Italy, you should go work for Ferrari because they're giving their employees a record bonus of $5,600 for this good year that they've had recently. So, yeah, it's a pretty sweet bonus just about anywhere. And so, if I was in Italy, I'd be going to work for Ferrari right now. Other news is Peugeot has revealed their Beijing-bound Exalt concept car. It's a sleek 4-door coupe kind of design, and Peugeot always makes some pretty beautiful cars. That thing's pretty cool looking as well. So unfortunately we don't get Peugeots in America, so yeah, all of you in Europe can enjoy looking at those on the streets soon, hopefully. Other stuff for those Australian viewers that I have. Ford is planning a final Falcon GT for Australia because, you know, as the very sad news of the Ford Performance Vehicle division in Australia is being shut down, and Ford production is being shut down in Australia and everything. And so for the final hurrah, they're doing a final edition of the Falcon GT, which is an Australia-only car. And it's going to be pretty sweet. You know, it's going to have a 471 horsepower V8 and all that good stuff. Some special badging and things like that. So yeah, for those of you in Australia, have at it. Other news, Dodge is bringing a revamped Challenger and Charger to the New York Auto Show next week as well, and they just released a teaser of the gauges, which look pretty sweet. And yeah, everyone's really curious about what's going to go on with the Challenger, because that's really been unchanged in the design for the past, since it came out really in like 2008 and started the whole muscle car war thing again. So not really sure what's going to happen with that. They're saying the Charger's going to get a completely new look actually, which it's kind of scary because I really love the way the current Charger looks. So not sure what they're going to do with the new Charger, but you know, Dodge and Chrysler have been on a hot streak recently, so I'm sure they're not going to disappoint with this new Charger. So yeah, look out for that next week for sure. Other news, the new Audi R8, there was some spy shots of some other cars running around recently, and you know, they kind of looked cool, but they look kind of like the old R8, and so there's some new spy shots now of a sleeker looking car. Still looks a lot like the old R8, but looks pretty cool. New little headlights going on there. Not sure, you know, if that's an official design or if this is just to throw people off again, but excited to see more of that. And lots of news from Mercedes. There's 4 different stories here. First is they've revealed a concept coupe SUV. You know, I don't understand why all these German manufacturers think people want these sleek four-door SUVs that are basically, you know, no more functional than a sedan. I mean, I really don't get it. You know, BMW is obsessed with the X4 and the X6 and stuff, and they don't really sell very well. So I don't see why everyone's like, oh, we should build some more of those, because they don't sell. But Mercedes is considering it. This is going to come out at Beijing at their auto show here soon. Other Mercedes news is they're going to be, it's official that they are doing an S65 AMG Coupe. It's coming out in July. And the refreshing thing about this is, I'm not sure if anyone knows, but the S63 AMG, it's been announced they're only going to be available with all-wheel drive here in America, like how the E63 is now only all-wheel drive, which is sad because they're always a really good hooning cars that just drift around in, you know, the rear-wheel drive versions. And the new S65 is going to have 621 horsepower and 738 foot-pounds of torque, and that's so much torque that they say that their all-wheel drive system can't actually handle that much. So the S65 happily is going to be available only in rear-wheel drive. So it looks like if you want a rear-wheel drive you know, S-Coupe Mercedes here in America, you're going to have to go for the more expensive S65 and not the S63. So that's interesting. Other Mercedes news is the, it looks like the SL series is getting a new one. It's going to be the SL400. It's going to be coming to America here in the fall with a twin-turbo V6. So it's a more fuel-efficient one. You know, previously they're only available with the V8s. So that's pretty cool to see a cheaper SL. And the last bit of Mercedes news is their new AMG GT that they've been testing. It's their new baby SLS that's going to be the successor to the SLS. They have this crazy camo on it now that's like animal print and pretty wild looking. And but you can see the headlights kind of through the camo, and it looks really mean. I think it's going to be a really sweet car, and hopefully we'll be seeing the official uncloaked version of that soon. But yeah, so that's pretty sweet. And the last bit of news is Automobile Magazine's released their 2014 All-Stars list, and it's a list of just about some of my favorite cars that are on the market right now, and I'm happy to report that the Subaru BRZ and Scion FRS were included in the top 10 list for the second year in a row as being one of the top 10 cars on the market. So the other cars are the 2014 Audi A7, S7, RS7, that whole car, the 2014 BMW 3 Series and the 4 Series, 2014 Cadillac CTS, 2014 Ford Fiesta ST, which is another fantastic car, 2014 Honda Accord, 2014 Jaguar F-Type, the 2014 Mazda 3, 2014 Porsche Boxster / Cayman, and then the 2014 Ram 1500 are the other cars on the list. So yeah, a very good list. I agree with Automobile. I think those are some of the absolutely best cars on the market today. And yeah, so that's it for all the news this week, guys. I'll send it back to me in the car. Alright, so I'll leave you guys with a nice little acceleration here, like I always do. So yeah, we got a little wheel spin there because as you know, like I said, it rained recently, and so the roads are a little wet, and these snow tires, whenever it's a little bit warmer, they don't get traction as well. So got some wheel spin there, always fun though. And so yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next week. Take care.